There's a big development in the Middle East. An Iranian military convoy has crossed into Syria from Iraq, and it appears that Iran may be working to establish a road link, an important road link between Damascus and Tehran. Joining us now, Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North. What's the significance? There's a road anyway. Are they just expanding it? And what's the significance here?
Well, what they've done with the fall and collapse of ISIS, Stuart, what the Iranians are doing is reestablishing a land route that goes from Iraq through Iraq from Iran to Syria and therefore into the Bekaa Valley to support Hizballah. This has been their goal all along in this fight against ISIS. They're now declaring victory in that fight, and they've shown that they've gotten what they wanted, and that's a clear line of logistic support, providing weapons, convoys, and it calls for us to do some very straightforward things to help the Israelis deal with it.
Like what?
Well, intelligence passed from Israelis don't have great intelligence on what's happening over along the Iran-Iraq border. We can monitor that. We've got aircraft that are flying up there right now. And what we ought to be doing is passing it directly to them so that they can take aggressive action against it once it arrives in Syria.
You think it's ominous that the Iranians might be really taking over that whole swatch of land as a prelude to war?
Clearly what the Iranians want to do, in addition to working with the North Koreans on nuclear weapons that will put an existential threat to us, is they want to be a regional hegemon. They want to be able to control territory from the Mediterranean Sea all the way to the Persian Gulf, something that's not happened since the Persian Empire. This is a long-term goal of the Ayatollahs in Tehran, Stuart. What we're looking at is a need, a very specific need. The only way to deal with it is the Israelis flying their aircraft, as they've done numerous times, to deal with the situation going on in the Bekaa Valley and start to hopefully disarm Hizballah. The bottom line of it is Hizballah is now running Lebanon. We're still providing military aid to the Lebanese army. That ought to stop right now.
Important stuff. Thanks, Ollie. But there's one other thing for you here. President Trump is going to outline this national security policy, a big speech today. But we understand that he's not putting climate change on his list of threats to our national security.
You will remember it was the #1 threat in the previous administration, and thankfully that's gone as the #1 threat. I think this is a very realistic projection of what our national security strategy has to be. It is not specific. People are going to be looking for a very specific phrase or term or a location. The Congress requires this, and I believe this is the earliest it's ever gotten out. And Congress has been requiring this for decades. What I see is a very realistic strategy. I see strengthening the borders, combating jihadist terror, dealing with transnational organizations that traffic drugs and human trafficking in the U.S., and others that are seeking weapons of mass destruction. In other words, protecting the homeland becomes the #1 threat, #1 issue for this administration.
Ollie, General Mattis said that climate change was a major threat. Well, now he's part of the Trump administration. Has he changed his mind?
Well, he's also saying that American prosperity is our best weapon to deal with all kinds of things. And that's certainly true, and it matches the #1 goal in the president's strategy that he's going to announce this afternoon.
Got it. Ollie North, I'm going to wish you a Merry Christmas, and I hope to see you again real soon.
And the same to you, Stuart. Thank you.